Come on in. Hi, my name's Reagan. I'll be your consultant today.
I'm Alex. This is my wife, Catherine, and my daughter, Carson. We spoke on the phone last week, and you mentioned that you'd be able to help me figure out some Tricare plans now that I'm an active duty service member.
Yeah, of course. Go ahead and take a seat.
I think there's a Starbucks around the corner. You want to head down there? Wait for us. This might take a few minutes.
Yeah, thanks, Mom.
All right, so let me just give you a little more background on how Tricare got started. Back in the 1800s, Congress requested soldiers and their families receive medical care free of charge. Medical treatment facilities were then designed specifically for soldiers, but then became very crowded during the Cold War. In 1956, the Dependent Medical Care Act was passed by President Eisenhower and became the initial foundation of medical care to the armed forces. In 1966, the Dependent Medical Care Act became known as CHAMPUS, which transitioned to the managed care system known as Tricare, which we have today. So Tricare now provides coverage for active duty members, families, retirees, and National Guard and Reserve members. So this means that it excludes civilian population from the coverage. Overall, Tricare exists today and provides affordable and quality health care, and they continue to adapt to cover the military population and their families. In fact, today we have 9.5 million people enrolled in Tricare all over the world.
Well, that was a lot of great information you gave us, but how do we navigate the system and how do we enroll in a Tricare plan?
Yeah, so there's actually a pamphlet that I was meaning to give you guys. So it just gives you a little more information about all the different plans that there are. And then also, if you go on the Tricare website and enter all your options and which beneficiary you are, then it'll give you the plans that will apply best for you and your family. So if you want, I can explain a little more about the 3 plans that most people use.
So to start, Tricare Prime is one of our most widely used of the Tricare plans and is a managed care option. For an active duty member like yourself living in the United States, you would be eligible to receive Tricare Prime. This type of coverage includes a primary care manager, no out-of-pocket payments, and referrals to specialists if needed. The next one is Tricare Select, which is a type of care that is fee-for-service, and almost all retirees or veterans qualify for this care if they choose to. Within this care, one will pay an annual outpatient deductible and copays for service. These prices are generally determined by the sponsor's military status. Finally, Tricare for Life is a choice that members can choose if they also qualify for Medicare Part A and Part B. This coverage allows one to see a provider on a military base, but then files the claim through Medicare. Medicare will pay for their portion, and the Tricare for Life pays for the rest of the services. Members of this coverage do not have to pay for any fees of Tricare. However, they must pay for Medicare Part B premiums, which is determined by one's income.
Thank you for going over all 3 types of plans for Tricare. We're definitely going to look more into Tricare Prime and use the website to help us out.
Sure. My only concern is that it still seems a little overcomplicated to us. I don't know if you can make it a little more simplistic or not.
Yeah, definitely. Some people think it is a lot of information and it can be overwhelming, but if you have someone like me and the Tricare website that can help you kind of guide through it, you can help move through the plans a lot easier and see all your options.
Awesome. So we were concerned about the fact that dependent coverage stopped at age 21 because we have a daughter and she's getting kind of close to that age, and we thought that under the Affordable Care Act everybody had to be covered up until age 26. All dependents should be on our plan, so we felt like that was a disadvantage to the plan.
Yeah, that's definitely a big concern that people have since it's regarding their children, but we do have an additional plan that helps fulfill that requirement. So it's called the Tricare Young Adults Plan, and it covers them from age 21 to 26, and that kind of just lets them get to that age of their life whenever they can have their own health care coverage.
All right, that makes sense. Thanks.
Oh yeah, what I found to be a concern was that we have to get a referral. in order to see a specialist, and the referral has to come from our primary care physician.
Although getting a referral may sound like a disadvantage, you are reimbursed for any travel expenses up to $100 that you may need. So that is kind of the advantage side of that aspect.
All right, that makes sense. We were just curious because we kind of live in like a rural area, so we were concerned that we might have to like spend a lot of money to go see a specialist or something, but if they're going to reimburse us, that definitely helps in our decision. And then another disadvantage, the last one that we found, was that all the providers that work with Tricare have to be approved through like the Tricare system. And we just feel like that might limit us on who we can go see. And again, we live in like a rural community, so we were concerned that we might not be able to find providers who work with Tricare very well.
Even though it may seem like a disadvantage for you guys, I see it personally as an advantage just because it does give you the professionals that are limited and processed through or screened through this process to give you the best care possible. Now that we've gone through some of the disadvantages that you guys are concerned about, I think it'd be a good time to talk about the advantages that would be advantageous for you guys deciding on which plan to use.
Now that we've sorted through some of the advantages and disadvantages of the system, I wanted to give you some information about what is really good. First and foremost, it allows military service members, retirees, and their families to see civilian providers, which is very convenient, especially if you do not live close to a military base. It is also an advantage that the program covers your entire family to see that civilian medical provider. Another big advantage that really applies to your family is the fact that Tricare does not require an enrollment fee from active duty service members or their families upon enrollment in the program. Lastly, and personally one of my favorite advantages to the program, is that it will provide you with coverage all over the world. So even if you're deployed or stationed somewhere overseas, Tricare will cover you and your family, even if they're back in the United States.
Do you guys have any more questions or anything that I can help you with?
I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we're going to look at Tricare on our own and decide if we're going to enroll. But we should probably go find Carson because she's been at Starbucks for a while now.
It was nice to meet you guys. Let me know if you have any more questions.
Thank you.
Welcome home.
Hi,
Hi, how was school?
it was good. In healthcare systems today, we learned about Tricare. Do we have Tricare?
We're looking at it right now, actually.
Oh, cool. What kind of Tricare are we going to enroll in?
We're going to enroll in Tricare Prime.
This is the Tricare website where you can find more information on which plan to use.
I'm Reagan Fellat, and I was the consultant.
I'm Catherine Pickrell, and I was the wife.
I'm Carson Fauner, and I was the child.
I'm Alex Bertman, and I was a husband as well as the guy that put together the video.